So now, we're started. Okay, it's up to you.
Oh, we're started.
You started.
Tell us about the production. What inspired it?
Firstly, the inspiration came because there are too many women in the human story who are not recognised, who are not seen for what they do, and who are consciously erased by the establishment, consciously forgotten, consciously silenced, even now. And I felt it was an important time in South Africa's history and the story of the world to start saying women are an important part of the human story. And until we recognise that and include it, our human story is going to be less when it could be more. It's going to be smaller when it could be greater. And I think until we can include human voice, all human voices in our story, then we are going to lose. We're going to lose our humanity. We're going to lose kind of ways of being in this world. We're going to lose lives to violence, to a way of being in this world which involves power, which involves domination, which involves violence. And women's voices tend to not always be the violent ones, because women understand what it is to nurture, to have life, to give life in this world. And I think we need that voice back in our human dialogue, and we need to bring it back into our lives, all of us, because we all lose when women are not part of the human story. I think whether you're male or female, our survival as a species depends on us being whole again. And we haven't been whole for a very long time. And this is what inspired me. It felt urgent, especially with the climate crisis, especially with the way politics are going in the world. We need to bring back a whole human response to where we are today.
You pay tribute to these women. Who are they in short?
They are Alice Victoria Kinloch, who was the mother of Pan-Africanism. So Pan-Africanism has a mother, in actual fact, who was forgotten and replaced by a father, and that makes a big difference in our story. There was Charlotte Mazengi, who was a lawyer. There is Dr. Gunam. She was one of the first coloured lawyers in South Africa. There's Lillian Ngoyi. There's also Dulcie September, who we know fought for women's rights. And how many do we have?
No, let's go.
Sissy Gould.
We have Sissy Gould. All these women, we have 8 women we have here.
Charlotte Matleke.
Yes.
Manya Matleke.
Yes, you do much better than me. I have practiced, I really have, and it just,
It's perfect.
it's a pity she's not Edith Piaf, because I could manage French, but all these women gave so much. That's what struck me. They gave their lives, they risked their safety, and some of them were murdered as a result. They gave everything, and very few of them are remembered or recognised for what they gave.
And I have to say, as a collaborator, getting to join Infinity to the Power of Women beyond the point of the prints, which Shui-Lyn created, and the poetry which Shui-Lyn wrote, I got to join in once those creations were present. It's Lyn's vision and her heart and her desire for the mission of the work that really brought me in. And I was like, it's so important that our history doesn't neglect so many of our stories, and we are greater with all of our stories in it than with just one perspective. There's one poem that says, whose dignity is saved and whose is lost in this dreadful forgetfulness where only the favored scribes are remembered. And I think it's not just the favored scribes who have a voice. Through Infinity to the Power of Women, these women have a voice, and so many more who feel neglected and overlooked and forgotten have a voice too and feel seen. Like we all play a part in making our country what it is, but specifically in making humanity
Humanity, what it is.
What
I
it
think
is.
the problem with the forgetting of women and the erasing of women, is that when you can do that to half your species, over half, because women generally take up 52% of the world population at any one time in general. If you can do that, what else can you get away with? Who else can you do that to? It gives you such power, such leeway to then move on to other people that maybe don't fit your story, don't fit your agenda.
It opens the door.
It opens the door.
Yeah.
But it also says to people that women are less. Women cannot do this. Women are not worthy of this. Women are not intelligent. They're not powerful. And so then people think of women as being second-class citizens, third-class citizens. Incapable. And so this is what that story of exclusiveness tells. But it's dangerous because, as I said, if you can exclude 51%, then the other percentages are minor. They're quite small. You can then, go wherever you like and do the same thing.
You give a dance interpretation to her artwork, to her poetry. Tell us about that as a dancer.
As a dancer, I've spent my life being led by choreographers and fulfilling their vision. And this was the first time that I became a performing artist, a soloist, a performance artist in this performance art piece, where I am the manifestation of these women in vocally. Like I get to speak some of the poetry, I get to sing some of the poetry, and throughout this performance art piece, I'm dancing and moving. And how it has been for me is not a forgetting of my forefathers, but a discovering of my foremothers. It's been just such a divine opportunity of not just seeing them as maternal figures, but an extension of myself, and I am an extension of them.
I attended your production here, and it was the launch of an art series called Intimate Art Encounters. Tell us about this beautiful venue.
Well, I happen to know Lahini for a long time, and in fact,
Lahini
Moodley, and we happened to actually brainstorm this idea, and she was very instrumental in coming up with it and forming it, and then I managed to then get into an art form and an art exhibition at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and I wrote poetry, and then I got us into a poetry festival, and so this thing has gradually grown. And I'm ever grateful to Lahini that, when we needed to bring it up to Joburg for a trial run to see how it would play out with audiences here and whether it really had the kind of meaning that we wanted it to have as an art piece and as a performance piece. Lahini said, well, I have the space for you and I want it here. And so we arrived, and Lahini loves the art. She's a connoisseur of the arts. And we've travelled a lot together to art exhibitions all over the world, from Venice to London to Paris. So we've seen a lot of art together. So it was sort of a return home for the art energy to arrive back and have the first rendition of this in Johannesburg here with Lahini.
In its place of conception.
In its place of conception.
This is fantastic. It makes so much sense that it is two women that conceived and created this piece, and I really feel honored to be a part of the team and to be a performer working with Shui-Lyn. And I think for those that haven't seen the performance art piece yet, to see Infinity to the Power of Women and to hear Shui-Lyn speak her poetry whilst we are viewing the artwork is a real honor for audiences. So invite anybody and everybody you know to come.
No, in fact, I'm also inviting especially corporates who are hosting events for their stakeholders to invite you guys to come and entertain.
We'd love to.
Their stakeholders. They will make a very good impression to their stakeholders. After your performance here, I asked Uncle Frank to describe your performance in one word, because I said to him, great brands are eloquently captured in one word, and he said spellbinding.
So thank you, Uncle Frank.
Thank you, Uncle Frank.
Everybody needs their own Uncle Frank.
Absolutely.
But you
But
can't
it's
have ours.
like what a gift to be a part of a work that's not just entertaining but touches people in that spellbinding way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's all about freedom.
It's a great evening for me. A spellbinding
Ah.
evening for me.
Can we end with a hug?
Yeah!
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Many more.
That's 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yes.
Nice, fine. I'll produce 3 out of
Yes.
out of 10 minutes.
Definitely
3 minutes
3
each.
minutes in
Yeah.
somewhere.
That's got, yeah, that's going to be quality 3.
There's a quality